Things I've learned since working in professional baseball. Part 1. Part 1 is all about timing. And I'm not talking about timing like hitting a baseball or hitting a softball and making sure that our contact point's on time. I'm not talking about any of that. I'm talking about the timing of delivering a message. So I come from the facility world where people walk into the cage and they hand me money and they say, "Coach my kid," right? Which typically means that the parent who is paying for that lesson is ready to receive all of the information that you are about to give their student. However, the student might not be, right? The student is on their own personal journey. Each athlete is on their own personal journey of development. And we have to respect where each athlete is in their own development journey, right? Athletes have multiple coaches. They have multiple people telling them one thing or another. They have all kinds of perspectives that are being thrown at them all the time. And if we just go in there and we try to just give them everything that we know, and it might not be the right time for that player, we're going to lose that player. And not only that, we're probably going to cause some destruction along the way, because if you don't try to get to know the player, get to know where they're at in their development journey and how ready they are to receive information, you run the risk of disrespecting all the other coaches, parents, brothers, sisters, cousins, uncles that have actually taken some time to work with this specific player. And you're just basically stepping all over that and saying, well, I know better. That might not be the case, but that's how it's going to be perceived. So we have to make sure that we are delivering messages at a time when the athletes themselves are ready to handle them, right? You hear it all the time. Man, I've been telling them this for years and they haven't listened to me, but they're finally doing it, right? Well, you might have been telling them, but it might not have been the right time for that information to be received, right? You get one shot as a coach, in my opinion, you get one shot to really make a meaningful impact on a player. You're gonna, at some point in your coaching career, arrive at a crossroads, and it's going to be, I'm either going to make progress with this player or I'm going to lose this player. And the timing of that information is going to dictate what happens at that crossroads, right? So if I come in and a player, let's say, has been working on their load for the last 6 months and they've really been trying to master a skill and they feel really good about it, they feel really positive about it, and in comes me, this new coach that's never met this player before, and I immediately start coaching them on their load. That's basically me saying to the player, everything you've been working on is wrong, right? What I can do is observe. I can take a step back. I can ask them some questions. I can get to know them. I can build their trust. And then when the time is right, I can then interject this part of, hey, maybe I want you to try this. I know you've been working on this. I'm not saying that's wrong, but I want you to try this instead. And that art of coaching is something that we are not so accustomed to seeing at the youth level, but at the professional level, man, coaches are so good at this. They're so good at finding ways to build relationships with players first, of letting the player know that they care about them and that they respect them and that they respect everybody else in the room that's tried to help this player. And then after we've already built that foundation of that good relationship, then coming in and saying, okay, now I can help you. And now that player actually is ready to receive that information. So before you jump in hot on a player and try to tell them everything you know, ask yourself if that player is ready to receive that information. If they're not ready to receive it, what you say does not matter. Knowing when is just as important as knowing what, right? So make sure that your player is ready to receive that information.